So we're going to take a look at the fetch entities step. The fetch entities step is a flow step that allows us to fetch any kind of entity within the system. For our example, we'll use folders, and we'll display the folders that we fetch in our display folders form entity. But you can display, or you can fetch any entity, native data types, stored database types, custom data types, etc. What we'll do to begin is we'll select the Create Flow button, and we'll call our flow Fetch Folders Flow. And the first thing we want to do is we want to find the Fetch Entities step, which is under Integration, Entity Framework, Fetch Entities. Now the Fetch Entities step is unique in that it allows us to filter the parameters of our fetch so that we can filter according to any property that that entity has. This is one of the principal ways in which it differs from the other services that come along with our folder entities and our folder extensions. For example, if we wanted to get a particular facility, we would need to know the ID of that facility. If we wanted to fetch it according to the other services that were available under internal services, we would have to know some more details about it, but using the fetch entities we can just fetch all entities of a specific type and then filter those. So once we fetch the entities, what we want to do is we want to display those entities inside of a form. In practice we'll probably do quite a bit of additional processing with those results, but just for our example we will direct both outcomes, results, and no results to display folders form. Note that there's also the possibility to show a path for just one result. So if we wanted to display a different form, if there was only one result, we could do that by selecting that checkbox. So inside of this form we want to display the results of our fetch entity step, so we will select value for a mapping type, and before we can do that, let's define the parameters of our fetch entities. So the type name is going to be a data type. For our example, we will use folder. Now some data types, for example folder, have the possibility of being extended. So our folder has a possible extension type of facility, which is a custom folder extension that we created earlier. But if we want to fetch any other extension, so long as we know the principal type, we'll have that ability inside here. We do want to fetch just basic folders, so once we've fetched our folders, we want to set the input of the folder ID. Now, the folder ID can be a mapped-in selected ID if we know the specific folder ID that we want to search within. But if we want to set this statically, we can set it to constant and select any one of our folders. For example, I'll choose the system folder since it has a good variety of folders inside it, and the results will come out as entity results. Next we'll map in the folders parameter of our form to entity results. And now that we have this set up in a real basic way, we'll run it very quickly inside the debugger. So these are the folders under the system folder. They are unfiltered. Note that we have several hundred folders inside here. But let's say we wanted to filter these down according to the folder type. And let's additionally say that the folder type we want to filter on was designer project. To do that, we go back to the filter or the fetch entity step, and we will select under field 1, we will select a folder type name, and under the field 1 type we'll select a comparison operator. We have several different operators we can use, such as does not equal, contains, contains without case, but since we know exactly what the folder type name we want to use is, we will just stay with equals. and we'll see that a new input has been created for folder type name. We'll select a constant, although we could, if this was a dynamic value, we could select value and then select the input that would provide that value. We'll select designer project. And now when our fetch entity steps run, it will fetch only the folders which have a folder type name of designer project. And we'll run this in the debugger to see that in action. So this has limited our results to designer projects. Additionally, let's say we want to collect designer project folders that were created before December 5th, which it looks like we do have quite a few. So all those created before December 5th, 2012, we will go back to our fetch entity step. We will select the next filter, and you'll notice that we have only 5 types, but we do have the option to add additional ones in code. Just let us know that if that's a need that you have. We will select created on date, and we will say is less than or equal to, oh wait, there it is, less than, and we'll select that it is less than. We'll select a constant date and time. Actually, let's select just a constant date of December 5th, 2012. So this will select all folders under the system folder with a type name of designer project that were created before December 5th, 2012. This should significantly limit the number of results that we have from the large number that we had in the first run. And there we go. Now there are just a couple of folders that match this criteria. And additionally, if we wanted to sort these in ascending rather than descending order, we could select the sort field of created on date. And let's say we want those to be in descending order. So that completes our example of how to use the fetch entity step. Thanks very much.